You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast series that syndicates for the A-List Online, and my name is Andrew Mackay-Smith. Hope you are well. The interview subject coming up for you, it's David Freiberg, and he's the rhythm guitarist and vocalist, and he has a lot to do with the sounds that are created under the Jefferson Starship banner these days. Another music icon, a legend that I've had an opportunity to talk to. Not a long conversation, this one here, only about 15 or 20 minutes or so. But the reason for the chat with David is because Jefferson Starship have a brand new EP out. It's called Mother of the Sun. So this isn't a re-release or them going over some old tunes and trying to update them or anything like that. This is all new music. It's out now, as a matter of fact, literally today. Today's date being the 21st of August in Australia. The rest of the world tends to be half a day or a full day behind, so if you're listening to this today, check it out tomorrow. Anyway, the conversation with David's a good one, and here he is.
Future audio.
Looks like we're cooking with gas. How's things?
Here we are. Hi, Andy.
How's things going? How's the conversations with the Australian media types been treating you?
Well, I've only had one. It's been fine.
No worries. Hey, just quickly, I just share this for a bit of a laugh. In doing my research for our conversation, you type in your name and then you type in Jefferson Airplane, Jefferson Starship, all of the combinations of the different bands you've been in. And you guys have been doing this, and you specifically have been doing this so long now. And please take this as a bit of a joke and a compliment too. One of the questions is literally, is Jefferson Airplane still alive? I think it's one of Google's top ranked searches for you. So there you go. I mean, they're talking about the whole band like as if it's an entity.
No.
Well, bringing you
Nobody
direct from
an airplane anymore.
Well, you must. I'll kick things off, mate, because look, you must look back on your career with you've survived in a notorious industry, as we know. You must look back with a tremendous sense of accomplishment.
Yeah, it's an accomplishment to be alive at this point in this country. Yeah, for sure.
Oh God, at the moment, yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of amazing. But I have, I've taken some time off here and there in between.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, look, I do love this.
Never stop being in music though. So.
Yeah, correct. You've that's what I'm saying though. That's my point really. You're a survivor from that perspective. I mean, you've had to deal with a lot of stuff. We know that. The band has sort of come in and out of favor within the public, and you yourself have even been out of the band for a period of time. But look, now you're back, and you're back in a big way, because I'm truly enjoying this new EP, Mother of the Sun, and the sound across the 7 cuts. I just think it's such a wonderful tribute to your legacy and to the band's legacy. But it's not just about the past. It also takes the band forward as well, because you captured a killer rock sound. I just love what you've done here. And, so for you, mate, tell me, does this album feel like a bit of a rebirth, or is it more of an affirmation of where you're going to?
Well, it definitely feels like a rebirth, but it's been a long birth. But no, it took this bunch of people to do it anyway. So, well, let's see. Okay, so this is actually Paul Kantner's band, the band that was playing with Paul when he passed away.
Yep.
And some of us have been with him longer than others. I mean, I took about, after I left, when it changed to Starship, it was 20 years before I came back. Which is a lifetime for some musicians, And
it is, yeah.
Yeah. But I did stuff in between, but nothing that I felt like that this is my mission in life. And so when Paul asked me to come, so anyway, what I was gonna say is there is Chris Smith, our keyboard player, actually joined Paul's Jefferson Starship in 1998. And so he's been at this for like 22 years now in the band. And I don't know whether anybody's been in it that long other than Paul was. So that's pretty good. And then I came back in 2005, and Donnie in 2006, Donnie Baldwin, who played during the 80s, and played almost all the way through the Starship era too. And Kathy joined in 2008. And so she's been here like almost 13 years now. And Jude's been, our guitar player, has been here for like 6 years. And so at the point where Paul passed away, we felt so much like a unit that it was really hard to imagine not continuing.
Yeah.
And Paul's family expressed the desire, wouldn't it be nice if you could keep going? Especially China, which is Paul and Grace's daughter, China Kantner Eisler. And Grace suggested that she could give us the lease, that sign a contract so we could be the licensee, and everything would be legal, and we would just continue as we were. And so that's what we've done.
Mm-hmm. Well, and, the fruits of your labor are there.
It started to feel like a family as soon as this particular 5 people got together with Paul, and it just has done nothing but get to be more fun and more of a family the longer we've gone. So we hate being cut off now with this COVID thing. So we're here, we are in different cities. I wish we all lived in the same town. It would be nice.
Yeah, I know. Look, the United States lately. I mean, I talk to people from the United States almost every day at the moment, and I was just saying, okay, you're dealing with the COVID thing over there. You've got an election at the end of the year, then you've got all of this rioting and this violence that's going on in cities such as Seattle and Portland at the moment. I'm sure where you are, it's probably peaceful and tranquil, but geez,
there's not that much going on up there now, really. But there's always going to be some trouble somewhere, but I don't hear much about it lately.
Yeah, well, I'm glad. I'm glad for you, mate. But look, just talking about the album again too.
Most of the huge part of the demonstration has actually been really peaceful, except for when it's. I'm not going to get it. I don't want to get political.
No, that's fine. That's all right. It's it's just been interesting.
Not here. I would talk about music. So, yeah, the thing I'm here to talk about is that that record is released tomorrow. Yay!
Indeed, it is. And look, it's an incredibly varied. Is it an album or an EP? Because it got sent to me as an EP.
Yeah, it's an EP. I mean, that's what they're calling it, an EP. But it's a little long for an EP. A little short for an album, but it's what we had done, and at the point when we figured we better release this, because anyway, it's what it is.
What's great. I like it. Look, what I was about to say was it's an incredibly varied rock album. So, and there's different singers, and I love that about you guys. It's a bit like the Beatles, So you can track, not necessarily track by track, but can you tell me who took the lead vocals? Because I'm pretty sure you did on a couple of tracks.
I did on a couple. It's mostly Kathy. I mean, with Kathy on. It's Kathy on it, the one that was been released already. It's About Time, and it's her on What Are We Waiting For? It's me on Setting Sun, and then Jude, of course, is playing guitar on Embryonic Journey, and Runaway Again is Kathy, and Don't Be Sad Anymore is me again. But that's a song that Chris Smith and Marty wrote about 15 years ago when Marty was in the band, and Marty was making a solo album, and he asked Chris if he'd play keyboards on it because he's so good, and he heard, when he was in the studio, he heard this tune this instrumental tune that Chris had written. And all of that, grabbed out his pad of paper that he always carried around, and started writing lyrics, and it was this song, and it ended up being on the album that Chris played on. So that's where that one came from.
And what about the lyrical themes then? Is there like a narrative across the album? Because I do love the album title or the EP title.
Mother of the Sun. Yes. Well, the mother of the sun is Cassiopeia, the goddess and also the constellation. So anyway, we think Paul is up at the present time. His spirit is in Cassiopeia, and he's sending it, and he's taking care of us from there. So
okay, there you go. Yeah, lovely title though. Yeah.
Yeah.
So were the lyrics writing of the lyrics, were they a collective thing, or did the person who was singing on the track effectively write the lyrics?
Grace wrote some of the lyrics for It's About Time, Grace Slick.
Mm-hmm.
And I pretty much Kathy wrote the rest. And Donnie, I guess Donnie and Kathy, but Kathy is a great lyricist. She's fantastic, and I think she wrote most of them for What Are We Waiting For? And I came up with a few for Setting Sun. I didn't mention that one before, but anyway, I'm singing that anyway. And I wrote a few. I wrote a couple of things in that one. So, and
okay.
And Kathy's also on the Runaway Again. That's her tune.
Yeah, fair enough. And I think you've addressed this, but I did have the question planned because a lot of artists that have been around of your vintage, let's just say that, been around for a long time, achieved a lot, such as Billy Joel. He hasn't recorded or released new music, and it's almost 30 years now. Can you believe it? Since I can't remember the name of the last album that he did, but 1992 or 1993, I think, was his last one. And you could rest on your laurels, but you don't. You're out there. It's not that you're taking a risk, but you're giving people new music, okay? Which is always something that either people appreciate or they go, no, we want it to sound like it used to sound.
Don't play anything new. We want the old songs. I know.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's a standing joke with bands. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, for you guys though, I mean, you've obviously got an opinion on it because you do have new songs out there and new material out there though. But do you feel that pressure just to play the old hits, so to speak, and not release new music and perform that live?
So far, we've been playing What Are We Waiting For over a year in all our shows, and nobody has ever complained about it at all. And so I don't think we'll have a problem. I don't know. We feel so good about playing this new stuff, and it feels, I don't know. I have a hard time if we could play any gigs at all. But
yeah, I know. Yeah.
If anybody can play any gigs at all, so I'm hoping so. Maybe we're planning on it next year. Hoping to get down your way. Actually,
that'd be nice. Yeah.
Year, but if anybody will let us in the country.
At the moment, yeah, it's we're talking about the state that I'm in, Queensland.
Let us out of the US.
But yeah, I think our borders are going to be locked down until at least the end of the year, meaning our state border. You can't even get into Queensland, the state that I'm in, from New South Wales, the adjacent state. Right. We're in complete lockdown at the moment. God knows when we're going to get out of it. But you know, look, the other thing too, though, is have you seen those car park gigs that the promoters are putting on, where people actually turn up in their cars and don't get out of the vehicle and they watch a band or a comedian perform? Yeah,
I'm considering those too. It looks like, well, if that's what we got to do. But to play, I don't know. Wish we could just figure out a way to play together, even though we live in different cities at the same time. That would be nice. But I think it's the laws of physics would stop us from being able to do that. Although there's some software things that are out there that are claiming you can, but we'll have to find out.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of those videos going around where it looks like the band are performing live and they've got their individual cam on, but they're all pre-recorded, as you know. But they're presenting the video like as if the bands are performing at the same time. But that, of course, is I'm a musician too, and I couldn't imagine how difficult that'd be with the latency to do with technology.
I can't see how you can not have latency.
Yeah.
How can you?
Oh,
how can you not?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So you're a multi-instrumentalist, which I'm always fascinated by because I'm primarily a bass player, and then I'm sometime guitarist if I'm really forced to. but I love my bass guitar. But for you, mate, you seem to be one of those guys who can pretty much get a note out of a hairbrush if you needed to. So,
Well, I have, but lately I've just been sticking to rhythm guitar and going. I, I don't know, receding to becoming a folk singer again, kind of. Which is where I came from.
But did that?
I played bass in Quicksilver because everybody was a guitar player, and so somebody handed me a bass, and I said, okay, I'll have to figure this out. And then I played some keyboards, mostly just to write tunes, because it's like, you know, your typewriter but I'm not, I wouldn't consider myself a keyboardist either, but I've served as a keyboardist in few bands, you know, and but usually I was going back and forth between bass and keyboards, but now I don't feel like I'm really a singer. This is the way I figure it out, and playing the guitar gives me something to do while I'm not don't have my mouth open.
It's a good way to look at it, actually. It's a good way to look at it. Yeah. What instrument do you find is the most challenging to play and sing at the same time?
I thought bass was going to be, because you're always playing a line.
Yep, I know. I find it very challenging.
And then when I was in Quicksilver, I was lead singer a lot of the time, and somehow, well, you found a way to do it.
Yeah, I find it very challenging. I find that I play with my fingers, and just that motion like that tends to sort of make it arrhythmic, and so I tend to find that I don't play with a pick. I don't like it, so I just play with my, you know, strum down sort of thing. It makes it a more rounded tone. But whenever I have to sing Wonderwall by Oasis or any of that sort of stuff, which are my songs to sing, that's pretty much what I have to do, is just sort of play a very simplistic bass line, sometimes just playing it on the measure of the four, you know, 1 2 3 4 boom, 1 2 3 4 boom, just play the note that way rather than sort of, you know, the quarter notes and all the rest of it, because I just find that I start following the note on the bass rather than singing, you know. So but you can do both very at an exceptionally high level, so I've always admired that.
Well, somehow I managed to do it when I had to. But I mean, I was learning. I would be getting into patterns, you know. Remember your patterns, and then they become automatic. It's automatic as strumming in a way. So if you do it often enough, you just got to do it all the time.
I think my time's almost up, so allow me to ask one more.
Let me say about releasing this on Golden Robot Records, which is an Australian label.
Sure.
Tomorrow, and we're actually having the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is giving us a kind of kickoff thing that you can get that is at 4:00 p.m. Pacific time here. I don't know what it is in Australia. Well, it's right now. Tomorrow.
There you go. Okay.
Wherever you are, at rockhall.com. ROCKHALL.com, and we'll be doing some interviews, and I think we might have a little acoustic thing for whatever we can get away with, and we'll probably play some. Actually, we'll probably play one of those isolated videos that you were talking about.
You got to do what you got to do. Yeah. No, that's great. Yeah. So it is out via Golden Robot Records. You're right, and you've got an active social media presence there. So for people, they can always get out there and follow your socials for the updates.
You can probably find it on the Facebook page of Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Probably be on ours too, for that matter. So
there you go.
Jefferson Starship. And
awesome. All right. Well, congratulations on a stellar career, mate. Outstanding musician. And look, congratulations on this album too. I'm certainly enjoying it at the moment. I got it on around the kids usually. And the kids don't complain. So you get a 2 thumbs up from a 5 and a 7-year-old there. So you're doing something right.
Doing something right then, aren't we?
Well, all right. Well,
great talking to you, Andy.
Likewise, brother. No worries. Okay. All right. Well, God bless, and best of luck with everything moving forward.
Yeah. Be safe, man.
Thanks, brother. No worries. Talk to you. Catch you.
Bye-bye.
You have been listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast series that syndicates for the A-List Online. My name is Andrew Mackay-Smith, and the interview subject you just heard from then is David Freiberg from Jefferson Starship. Thanks for listening.